Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to graph systems of equations. And so this means that there's going to be no shading or line types. So all we have to do is graph it. Now a system means that we're dealing with more than one equation or inequality. So we were dealing with that, we just never called it that before in the first two lessons. We are also looking for where the two equations cross paths. And where they cross paths, that is where we're going to find our solution. So I'm going to go through and do numbers 1, 2, and 3 with you. Now we are still using y equals mx plus b, still writing the slope, the y-intercept, all right, except we're going to have two in the same. So I'm going to start with this first equation. We have y equals 11 over 2x plus 5. Plus 5 is my y-intercept, so I'm going to start at 5 on the y-axis. And then 11 over 2 is telling me to go up and right because they're both positive. Now I cannot go up 11. There's not enough on this coordinate plane for me to do that. So I'm going to do the opposite movement and I'm going to go down 11 and left 2. And that's it. That's all I can graph here. So I'm going to draw my line and I get to use a solid line because we have equal signs this time. We don't have to worry about shading. It's just the equal signs. Now I'm going to look at this next line here. So we have y equals 11 over 2x minus 6. Minus 6 is my y-intercept, so I'm going to go down to minus 6. 11 over 2, hey, these guys got the same slope. So again, I'm going to go up and right, up 11, right 2. And this time I can go up 11 and right 2. I can't do that again. And I also can't do the opposite movement because there's just not enough on this coordinate plane. Here's my first two lines. Sorry, that was a little crooked. But remember earlier, we are looking for the two equations cross paths. Do these two equations that I have in red and blue, do they cross paths? No, they don't, so that means there's no solution or they don't intersect. Do you guys remember if two lines are next to each other forever and they just keep going that way, what's the super special name for them? That special name is parallel. These two lines are parallel to each other, which is a fancy way of saying they're never gonna cross paths. All right, so again, no solution because they're never gonna cross paths. 2, all right, so we have y equals negative 8 over 3x minus 7. So I'm gonna do this one in red. Minus 7 is my y-intercept, so I'm gonna graph this at negative 7 on the y-axis. Negative 8 over 3, so I gotta be careful. I have to write it how I say it, negative 8 over 3, because there's only one negative, so I gotta make sure I either attach that to the top or the bottom. So I'm gonna say down and right, because two negatives together makes a positive, and that's not what we have here. We only have the one. So I cannot go down 8 and right 3. So instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up 8 and left 3. See, I caught myself there. And we'll do it again, up 8 and left 3. And there's my graph. I can now draw my nice, beautiful straight line. Look how good that was. I'm impressed. Next equation is y equals negative 1/3 x plus 7. Plus 7 is my y-intercept right here. I have this negative 1 over 3. So what I'm going to do is rewrite it so that I have that negative attached to the top. So I'm going to do down and right. So down and right. So down 1, right 3. And I'm going to do that until I can't do that anymore on my graph. And as you can see, we went all the way to this side and there's no more we can go. So what we're going to do is do the opposite. So instead of down 1, right 3, we're going to go up 1, left 3, up 1. What just happened right there? Okay, let's do that again. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. So, do you see how my red dot and blue dot all both plotted right here at this point? This is my solution here in pink. Let's do a different color that's a little bit more obvious. Right here in green, that point right there, okay? So that means we have to write the solution, which is always gonna be x comma y. So looking at this double plotted dot, that's hard to say, the x value is negative 6, so I got negative 6, comma, the y value is 9. And please make sure you put parentheses around your answer. All right, so negative 6 comma 9 is my solution, and this is because this is where the two lines intersected, is right there. Look how pretty that is. All right, so let's look at this next one here. We got number 3. Now, what do you guys kind of notice about number 3 here? So we got y-intercept is going to be a -5 in this first equation, so I'm going to plot this at -5. My slope is 2, so I have to rewrite this as 2 over 1 because I want it as a fraction, so this tells me to go up and right. So I'm going to do that until I can't anymore on my graph, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction as well. So down to right one, or I'm sorry, down to left 1. And here's my line. Then I'm gonna look at this next equation, y equals 2x minus 5. Well, hey, look at, they got the same y-intercept at -5. And look at that, they also have the same slope. Rewrite it as a fraction, 2 up to right 1. So you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and fill out these dots again, but I know they're gonna be in the exact same places because, oh my gosh, it's the exact same equation. Look at that. How crazy is that? So if it's intersecting all the time, what do you guys think the answer is going to be? If you were able to guess, that's amazing. But basically, the answer is going to be infinitely many solutions. Oh, I forgot to write solutions. And this is because they're intersecting the entire time. They're overlapping the entire time. This is an answer. This is an answer. This is an answer. All of where they're double touching here is all answers. So that's why it's infinitely many. There's so many solutions, we can't even count it. So that's why we say infinitely many. All right, that's the end of this video. So go ahead, get started on the rest of the problems.